The Willamette River stems 187 miles or 301 kilometers, lying entirely in northwestern Oregon in the United States. Flowing northward between the Oregon Coast Range and the Cascade Range, the river and its tributaries form the Willamette Valley, a basin that contains two-thirds of Oregon's population, including the state capital, Salem, and its largest city, Portland, which surrounds the Willamette's mouth at the Columbia River. The Willamette is a major tributary of the Columbia River, accounting for 12 to 15% of the Columbia's flow. Originally created by plate tectonics about 35 million years ago and subsequently altered by volcanism and erosion, the river's drainage basin was significantly modified by the Missoula floods at the end of the most recent ice age. Humans began living in the watershed over 10,000 years ago. There were once many tribal villages along the lower river and in the area around its mouth on the Columbia. Indigenous peoples lived throughout the upper reaches of the basin as well. Rich with sediments deposited by flooding and fed by prolific rainfall on the western side of the Cascades, the Willamette Valley is one of the most fertile agricultural regions in North America, and thus the destination of many 19th century pioneers traveling west along the Oregon Trail. Since 1900, more than 15 large dams and many smaller ones have been built in the Willamette's drainage basin, 13 of which are operated by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The dams are used to primarily produce hydroelectricity, to maintain reservoirs for recreation, and to prevent flooding. The river and its tributaries support 60 fish species, including many species of salmon and trout. This is despite the dams, other alterations, and pollution, especially on the river's lower reaches. Part of the Willamette floodplain was established as a national natural landmark in 1987, and the river was named one of 14 American Heritage Rivers in 1998. Fish in the Willamette Basin include 31 native species, among them cutthroat, bull, rainbow trout, several species of salmon, sucker, minnow, sculpin, and lamprey, as well as sturgeon, stickleback, and others. Among the 29 non-native species in the basin, there are brook, brown, and lake trout, largemouth and smallmouth bass, walleye, carp, bluegill, and others. In addition to fish, the basin supports 18 species of amphibians, such as the Pacific giant salamander. Beavers and river otters are among 69 mammal species living in the watershed, also frequented by 154 bird species, such as the American dipper, osprey, and harlequin duck. Garter snakes are among 15 species of reptiles found in the basin. Species diversity is greatest along the lower river and its tributaries. Threatened, endangered, or sensitive species include spring chinook salmon, winter steelhead, chum salmon, coho salmon, and Oregon chub. In the Central Valley, several projects have been done to restore and protect the wetlands in order to provide habitat for bald eagles, Fender's blue butterfly, of which 6,000 remain, Oregon chub, Bradshaw's desert parsley, and a variety of Willamette fleabane and Kincaid lupine. In the early 21st century, osprey populations are increasing along the river, possibly because of ban of the pesticide DDT and on the bird's ability to use power poles for nesting. Beaver populations, presumed to be much lower than historic levels, are increasing throughout the basin. Overall, the Willamette River boasts a wide variety of fish, birds, mammals, and other species. It's important to protect it now and ensure its enjoyment for future wildlife and generations to come.